One of the problems with the aesthetics of today's modern motorcycles is that they are made to please everyone. This usually means lack of character. Yes, they can be new and shiny, powerful and modern, but not interesting enough to make people turn their heads and say, "What the hell is that?" And that's where the project for today's episode comes in. I see it as a middle finger to conformity. Something like turning a grey office into a rock concert. It's loud, it's proud, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Welcome to Racertv. This is what I call the I don't care attitude. If the original Honda CB1000R didn't have enough pedigree to turn heads, this one certainly will, because now it's the kind of motorcycle that makes other bikes look boring. This awesome project was born in Brazil by Uruguayan Sebastián Rochon, founder of Corse, with the collaboration of the artist Prozac. I wonder what kind of drugs he was on when he came up with that name. Anyway, none of this would have happened if it weren't for the sponsors. Thanks to Honda Brazil, they created the Wing Crafters customization program. 4 teams made up of a customizer and an artist gained complete freedom to modify 4 Hondas. In addition to the project presented today, I'm sure you remember this one, which I already presented a month ago. But this time, we're going to mess with the big boys. And when I say big boys, I'm also referring to horsepower. A proper big boy bike. It's got more power than a freight train, and looks like it could chew up the tarmac, which also explains why Sebastian decided not to touch the engine. I know that many of the regular followers of this channel are saying, this bike is not a cafe racer. Indeed it isn't. It's a bit more of a street fighter, a bit more of a hooligan, but it's still a bloody good looking piece of machinery. So until the end of the video, let's just pretend there are some clip-ons here. Interestingly, right at the beginning of the project, Sebastian even tried a more cafe racer approach, using this semi-fairing. But then he ended up wanting to avoid the most obvious option and try something different. A kind of track day motorcycle. Imagine something that is always ready to be used on a track, with a number plate at the front. And at the same time, it could also be used as a daily motorcycle. It's like having a superhero in the garage. A bike that can do it all. Starting from this initial idea, I can guarantee you will be amazed with Sebastian's genius creativity. To be honest, I didn't expect anything less from his talent. You can also confirm this on this staggering Ducati that I recently presented on the channel, especially when you see the before and the after. Returning to the Honda project, I must say this rear end is absolutely brilliant. No matter from what angle you look at, it always looks stunning. Even the license plate holder is beautiful. All this is obviously entirely 3D printed, including the taillight. As you can imagine, creating something this good is rarely done on the first try. And from what we can see in the photos, not even on the second or third attempt. As you see here, the rear cowl has several bolt-on parts, Some of them are quite subtle. Do you see this little volume? A very cool touch for sure. It was also 3D printed, but using a transparent filament. And the end result is absolutely sublime. The aluminum tubular subframe is entirely custom made. And why would anyone change such a discreet and minimalist subframe? Does this one look better? No. Does it look cooler? Oh yes, indeed. It has kind of a Ducati vibe that we rarely see in other motorcycle brands. Was this a simple modification? On the contrary, Sebastian even unsuccessfully tried to remove the ABS system to make everything cleaner. But he ended up having to make this box to camouflage the electrical section. Speaking of camouflage, I know some of you won't like this kind of turbofan on the rear wheel. I recognize it is a bold choice, but I think it actually turned out pretty cool. And the same can be said of these elements next to the radiator. Just look at the exceptional quality of the design. No detail was forgotten. Not even the turn signals, which are very well hidden. Notice how this section helps to hide the front suspension height, also bringing the wheel closer to the engine. The front fender is a Ducati item, but the stainless steel exhaust pipe system was completely handcrafted, using a nice set of mufflers from Arrow. How do they sound? Very nice and loud. The front brake master cylinder and levers are now from Accosato. There are many other details and changes that I will not be able to explain for reasons of time. But there is one thing that will leave you amazed. Sebastian had a brilliant idea for the front headlight. Basically, there were two pieces that would serve as the basis for the number plate. But the interesting part is that after sliding the top cover, the headlight would emerge. Impressively, all of this would be activated by a button connected to a small electric motor. Unfortunately, due to the short deadline of 90 days to complete the project, Sebastian was unable to complete this front section, opting for a simpler solution. I think this Honda is a pretty bold project that took some courage to make it a reality. Interestingly, these ingredients are part of Honda's history, which is why they were represented on the top of the fuel tank by the artist Prozac. Sebastián Rochon, the man behind this madness, is a true talent. As usual, he made another custom pearl. And if he made all of this in 90 days, imagine what he could create if he only had more time. Thank you for watching Racertv. And as always, I hope to see you on the next video.